Hi friends, welcome back to the Your Journey Yoga channel. I wanted to just hop on and have a little chit chat. I want to share more of myself on this channel, just in an effort to be authentic and vulnerable and just share who I am and parts of my journey and things that I am learning that contribute to the way that I teach and the way that I show up in my business and community in the digital world. So if you want to, maybe you make a little mug of tea or grab your favorite drink and let's sit and just have a chat. Um, in the last video that I made like this, I was talking about how to practice non-attachment. And this is continuously present for me in my personal life. At the beginning of the year, I experienced an ayahuasca ceremony, multiple ceremonies, on a retreat in Costa Rica, and it changed the trajectory of my life and helped me better understand my inner world, which I can certainly share more about another time. But from that retreat, I gathered that my word for 2024 is allow. Allowing things to flow, allowing things to come to me, allowing things to be released. Generally just allowing the unfolding of life. And there's definitely something to be said about practicing non-attachment within that, right? Because from the mindset of allowing, there is less dictating what it is that I want, like need things to look like, the package they come in, the timeline on which things happen. And it's really, really, really fucking hard. It's really hard, especially being someone who comes from a planning family. That has served me well for many areas of my life and for much of my life. Most of my family is like, if you're on time, you're late. My family shows up early to everything, which is wonderful. And I'm a triple Capricorn. I'm sun, moon, rising Capricorn. I have a lot of desire for structure and plans and using the mind, the intellect. But I also have this really interesting balance being on the cusp. My birthday's on December 22nd. I lead with emotion a lot of the time, which is pretty contradictory to typical Capricorn traits. And so I've been learning this balance of letting my heart point me in the direction of things that I want, that I desire, that I care about, and then using the intellect, using the wisdom of the mind to get me there. And to do so without draining myself, without sacrificing my well-being. And it's a challenging balance to find. And so I just wanted to do like a follow-up video to my non-attachment video and just share some new things that I have learned since recording that video. And what I'm finding is that there is a sweet spot in taking action and also allowing. Probably going to say that word a lot in this video. There is a sweet spot in taking action and also allowing for the unfolding. So I think of it this way, and this is an example that has been shared with me before. I didn't create this, but if you want to manifest a relationship, you're not gonna find a relationship if you're sitting on your couch just saying, oh, I want a boyfriend, I want to have a partner, and this is what I want them to look like, and I want the relationship to feel like this, and blah, 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 blah. But you're not actually getting out into the world. You're not actually getting out into your community and connecting with other people. There's a sweet spot in knowing what it is that we desire, allowing ourselves to want that, get clear on it, and then go out and do what you can to make it happen. Because when we take action towards the things that we want, the things that we desire, I believe that that is when the universe comes in as a co-creator and says, oh, I see that you want to take this seriously. I see that this actually means something to you because you're taking steps towards it. So I'm learning that. Maybe that is something you can resonate with. I don't have all the answers, that's for sure. And it continues to be challenging. And I've also learned to allow for challenge because some of the most challenging moments of my life have brought me some of the greatest gifts, have brought me the most growth, which I'm sure is something that many of you can resonate with. The next thing I wanted to share is I was just at the Grand Valley Yoga Fest here in Palisade this weekend, and it was so amazing. It is wonderful. It is a nonprofit festival. All of the money that comes in through ticket sales and merchandise goes to suicide awareness here in the Valley, to different mental health services. And they bring out a bunch of different yoga instructors, spiritual teachers, and it's a whole weekend of community and gathering and learning and sharing and practicing. And one of my favorite spiritual teachers was here this weekend. Shout out to Swami. He was speaking about how it is not wrong for us to want to seek happiness and joy, because those things are real. Happiness and joy are real things, and it is not wrong for us to want them. It's not wrong for us to want joy, to want love, to want happiness. Where we tend to get tripped up is when we think that it has to exist somewhere outside of ourselves. Because the reality is that in universal spiritual terms, this is what I believe to be true, is that we are all made of the same thing. Let me find the words for this. The way that I see it in my head is that I've called it the universal quilt before. And essentially it's like imagining that we're all stardust. We all come from the same source of creation. And when looking at it in terms of the universal quilt, we each are our own unique little square of the same universal source of creation. And so our expression of our little square of the quilt, our experiences that have built into the expression of who we are, right? Because we're nuanced, we're humans, and we all have different experiences in this world. Every single individual has a unique individual experience in this world. And there's so many factors and so much nuance that comes into in each of our lives. And however, coming back, because we come from the same source, we're all a reflection of each other. We're mirrors, which is something that you probably have heard people within the spiritual world talk about. We're all mirrors of each other because we're all from the same source creation. And so we are what we seek, essentially. And this is what Swami was teaching in his workshop, was that we are what we seek. We are the love, we are the joy, we are the happiness. And that seems really challenging, because I think another thing that we hear in the spiritual world a lot is that, not even the spiritual world, maybe just like kind of mental health world as well, this idea of you can't love someone until you love yourself, or you shouldn't be in relationship until you have right relationship with yourself. I don't believe that to be true. I think that we learn more about ourselves through each other, and especially in relationships, especially like close friendships, close family connections, romantic partnership. Ooh, romantic partnership. Let me tell you, some of my greatest life lessons and some of the most profound clarity that I've ever had of my inner world has been discovered through romantic relationship. And so, with all of that said, we are what we seek, and it's okay to want to receive joy and happiness and love from others. It's completely human. It's fine. What gets a little bit tricky is when we think that that's the only place in which it exists, because so much of it does exist within us. And when Swami was talking about this, I had a message channel through me, and I wrote it down, and I wanted to share it with you guys. We are what we seek. When you get a taste of that inner joy, it's easier to see it in others, even in those who challenge us. And we can start to view it with less attachment because we understand that it never leaves us. It is all of us, this love, this joy. It is an infinite well waiting for us to remember that it exists. I'm going to read that last line again. It is an infinite well waiting for us to remember that it exists. Whew. I had to take a deep breath after I wrote it because it just resonates so true to me, that we can tap into happiness and joy and love. We can see it in the world, we can see it in others, and we can see it in ourselves if we are willing to cleanse the fog from the mirror. And if we are willing to know that just as much as others can be a reflection of challenging aspects of ourselves, the goodness and the greatness and the magic that we see in others is also a reflection of what lives in us as well. So for mirrors, it's not just mirroring back to you your shadow side. There's also when you see and you're able to recognize and resonate with someone's greatness, with their love, their joy, their happiness, their success, you wouldn't be able to recognize it if it didn't also live within you. You wouldn't be able to recognize it if it didn't also exist within you. So I'm not really sure how to wrap all of that up. I hope that it makes sense. And if it doesn't make sense, this is why I want to share these things. This is why I want to record them and put it out there in a real and authentic way, because I don't have all the answers. I feel like I receive messages from collective consciousness, universal consciousness, from spirit, and it's evolving for me, and I feel like I'm more tuned in to that higher aspect of myself now than I have been in the past, and I want to share it vulnerably and not as an expert. I share it humbly. I share it as I'm learning on my journey so that you can take what resonates with you on your journey, which is why my channel is called what it's called. So all of that to say, I hope that you can find a sweet spot in your life in taking action and manifesting, between allowing and going after what you want. I hope that you can find a sweet spot in acknowledging the joy and the love and the happiness, the infinite well that exists within you just as much as it exists within others. I hope you can find that in your own way, right? Because it's not going to look the same for all of us. These lessons and the messages and the way that it pans out is going to happen differently for every single individual. And that is what is so beautiful about it, is that even though we are in a shared experience as humans in this world, there's so many layers. And I think it's important to acknowledge that within spirituality, like, I feel like I'm going to try to explain this clearly. Spirituality, universal consciousness, all of these things that I'm talking about feel like a large umbrella over our human experience, right? It's kind of like the container in which we are held, and it is the cloth from which we are cut. But it's important to acknowledge that we also have systems in place, and we have historical, political events that have happened, that are happening, that are going to happen, that affect people in different ways. And so yes, your race, your gender, your sexual identity, all of those things will affect everyone differently. And spirituality does not negate those experiences, because there are people who suffer in the hands of this system, and using spirituality and this form of consciousness to bypass the lived experiences of other individuals is, to me, bypassing a piece of reality within this world, within this system that we live in. So I just want to put that out there, that we can't use this to ignore some really challenging, some dark things that happen in our world. Just a seed to plant. I wanted to give everyone an oracle card as well. If you don't know really what oracle cards are, they are a divination tool to give you further insight on yourself and on your inner world. A lesson that I've had to learn with the tarot and with the oracle is being careful about not thinking that they predict the future. Depending on your connection with spirit, with the divine, with God, whatever it is that you believe in to be higher, I believe that it is possible to pick up on energetic frequencies and where they're headed, but it's not ever exact. And again, our human experience is so nuanced. So more than anything else, tarot cards and oracle cards are a reflection of what is happening in the now. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not here to tell you if your ex is going to come back to you. I hate to break it to you. But I did want to offer a message from my favorite oracle deck. This is the Wisdom of the Oracle from Colette Baron Reid. And I love this deck so much. The artwork is beautiful. Her messages are clear. They are witty. They are to the point. And she offers like a general oracle message, relationship message, prosperity message, and a protection message. And you read the protection message if the card comes up in reverse. However, a lot of the time, again, with oracle and tarot, it's important to be able to tune into your own energy and know when something isn't resonating, right? So I've definitely had cards come up in reverse, and then I read the other messages, and those resonate more. So this is all subjective, right? But I just wanted to get a little message to send you all off with from this video. Let's see what comes up. I've also gotten a lot better at shuffling. Let me tell you, when I first got tarot and oracle cards, I was like, I don't know how to shuffle these things. And you can like spread the cards out and use your intuition to pick one. I like to shuffle and let random cards fall out. I got a lot So what I'll also do is, like, if I get way too many cards, I will just wait until only one falls out and go with that. Ooh. Regeneration. This card is so beautiful. Let me get it a little bit closer if it'll focus. I don't know if the camera's gonna focus on it. But it's a really beautiful tree with roots going down into the earth. They almost look like lava, and light shining down on the tree. There's some new leaves and like flowers sprouting from it. Let's read the message. So the essential meaning of this card is rebirth, second chances, and new opportunities. Second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. What this card reminds me of every time I pull it is this reminder that even in seeming loss, even in the, the death of a situation, of a relationship, of a job, when that happens, there is space being created for new life to come in. So tying it back to what we talked about in the rest of this video, can you allow the things that are no longer in alignment with you to fall away? Can you allow the space to be created and allow for new life to blossom without attachment for what it needs to look like, how it needs to happen, and when it happens? Can you trust in the magic? Can you trust that you will come into alignment with what it is that you want and you desire? And trust that the action and the steps that you take towards it, it'll get you there. I appreciate you all so much. If you have anything to share with me, please, please, please leave it in the comments if you have questions. I would love to share stories and insights and confusion and clarity with all of you. It is an absolute honor to have this little space of the internet to show up authentically, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Have a beautiful day.